Hey you guys, Mariel here, the Business Alchemist. Super excited, stoked to bring on one of my favorite clients. And yes, they're all my favorite. But this girl is all about pleasure and helping couples really create this cohesive, connected, beautiful, conscious relationship. And so today I'm going to be talking to Stephanie Pappas, and she's going to be coming on here soon. Thanks for joining me live, guys. Hi, Katie. Hello, you guys. So drop me a comment on where you are joining me from. Stephanie actually started working with me a couple months ago. And when she started working with me, she was like, she already had a signature system. She had been through a lot of training and stuff. So we really had to discover some new ways of bringing in clients for her. And so, you know, you will definitely meet her here in a little bit. So Katie is in LA, Mr. 201. You're in Long Branch, what? You're right down the street from me. Awesome. How exciting. So yeah, you guys, I'm so excited to come here. A nice hat, thank you. So I love hats, and I just got this new one. And I'm like, every time I get something new, a new package, I'm like a kid with a new toy. I'm always like, oh, I'll wear it right away. But yeah, this one's really cool. I like it, thank you. So, so yeah, what are you guys up to? Let's see, where is Stephanie? She's gonna be joining soon. So as I was saying, when I started working with Stephanie, she was actually really highly trained in as a, it's not a sex therapist, but sacred sex therapist and coach, I should say. And so I really connected with her because she and I share that same knowledge and love for shadow work and archetypes, right? So one of the things that I incorporate into my business and working with my clients is this concept of archetypes. And archetypes are basically these huge, big patterns of energy that really structure our reality. Like, for example, when I say, you know, what comes to mind when I say king versus a damsel, or a king versus a knight, you automatically get a sense of the difference between those two, right? So she works with archetypes as well, but she uses them for to teach people how to have more intimate connections, more conscious relationships, more pleasure sexually, and so when we first talked and had our first conversation as a discovery session, it was just kind of like, you know, love at first call, because we just believed in the same things and we spoke the same language. And I think that that's really, really important when you are building your business, is to really cater your business and make your ideal client someone that you are totally interested and fascinated in what they do. And I mean, I can say that as a business coach, but I think that in anything that you do in terms of coaching or as an expertise, one of the things that I really believe in and I encourage my clients to do is to pick a lucrative niche, someone to work with that they're totally passionate about that market, right? So for me, it was spirituality and metaphysics and transformation, because I love that. And so, you know, it's easy to do what I do, which is business coaching for people that are taking other people through this. So it's something that I encourage you guys to think about when you are serving your clients. So yeah, let's see, who else is on here? Oh yay! Oh, here she is. All right, hey babe. So you have to request to get on, Stephanie? Let's see. There we go. There she is.
Hey,
Yay. Long time no see.
I know.
How are you, Levy?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am good. So we're giggling because we were just in our Tuesdays Q&A, and so we just saw each other without makeup and anything, everything. So
Yeah, exactly.
I was still wearing my hat, right?
Yes, I love it.
So thank you for joining me, Stephanie. I was just telling everyone a little bit about you. So Stephanie Pappas is, like I said, she is a sacred sex and relationship guide. We have now been working together for what, like 90 days, like 3 months, something like that.
Yeah. Maybe even a little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. And can you tell us a little bit about why what were you struggling with when we first started working together?
Um, I think like looking back now, I know the biggest thing I was struggling with was being visible and really putting myself out there. But the biggest thing I was looking for help with is just being able to attract more clients. To be able to quit my day job basically was like my main goal. But now I realize that the reason that I wasn't doing that is because I wasn't being visible and I wasn't putting myself out there enough.
Yeah. And so, as a sacred sex and relationship therapist, I know that sometimes, and there's a lot of other people out there that help with such intimate issues, right? So was it kind of hard for you to know how to create your message in a way that, because there's so many types of relationship therapists and sex therapists. There's so much that you can coach people around relationships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely difficult because you do see so much. I see so many other coaches posting about so many different things, and then you start kind of comparing. So I definitely needed to really get down like, what is my signature system? What is it that makes me different? And so I was able to do that with the erotic blueprints, and I am specialized in working with these different archetypes, which I think is one of my favorite things to work on. So just me being able to highlight that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, and so I think it's really important to mention to people that, and because a lot of people go through this, that just because you got certified in certain areas, it doesn't necessarily mean that you really are equipped to know how to go out there and put it out there and create the packages and create the offers and all of that stuff, right? And I know that when we started working together, you already had a signature system. So it was more about like, how do I take that and create the different offers, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, in the very beginning, it's like you helped me kind of package things in a little bit different ways so that I could start enrolling clients like literally right away. And it just helped me think about, okay, like if someone needs something a little bit different from my signature system, like I can package it a little bit differently so that I'm able to help them with like exactly what they need.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I think that people sometimes get a lot of misinformation, thinking that if you have a signature system or a recipe, you can only help certain people. And that's one of the things that, we talk about, that it's not about that. It's really about learning to become an offer ninja.
Yeah.
And knowing, I was actually telling you guys a story in my Q&A earlier about, I had this mentor a long time ago, and I had been through, I don't know, a lot of discovery calls with no luck. And I had this one particular discovery call, and he was, and when I lost it, I didn't get the sale. But when I talked to him, he said, well, why didn't you? Everything that person needs, you know how to do. And I said, well, yeah, but my signature system isn't organized in that way. And so he's like, so just create a new one. I was like, what?
I know it seems so obvious, but it's like, wait, you have to like rearrange your mind to go like that.
Exactly. And I think it's also because we all want a blueprint. We all want something that, like, just give me a freaking formula to follow, and I will follow that and that alone. And one of the things that I love about your work, and also the soulful work that I do, and I was just saying how, you know, we kind of connected on the archetypes, and, you know, when we first started working together, because we both work with them. But it's really being able to recognize patterns in your relationship, in your business, in your life, and being able to intuitively make decisions based on those patterns instead of making decisions solely based on formulas, which don't really work. I mean, they do, but then, you know, it's good to have a framework for everything. But I really think that it's really important to become versed in learning how to identify patterns and then make conscious decisions about moving forward in your business. And from learning about what you do through helping you, I think that that's really what you do with people. Like, you help them identify their pleasure patterns. Tell us a little bit more about Ignite Your Feminine Fire and Magnetism and what you do to help couples.
Yeah, so Ignite Your Feminine Fire and Magnetism is just a new course that I'm just releasing right now, which is all about kind of embracing your feminine energy. And I do a lot of work around like polarity and the importance of having masculine energy and feminine energy in a relationship. And so many women I've noticed have said like they want to have more masculine energy. And when I ask them why, it's really surprising, because when they think of feminine energy, they think of like weakness or like less than. And so they're thinking of masculine energy as strength and power, which it's actually the opposite. Like, feminine energy is powerful, it is strong, but what the feminine superpowers are is that they're super creative and they're intuitive and they build community and they're collaborative. So we really dive into like tuning these superpower skills, how to dive into like healing energetically internally, so that you can really like step into your feminine power.
I love that. I love how you just described it. I mean, you're right, because most people, and women in particular, crave security and crave power, and you tend to, when people think of a woman empowered, a lot of people think of it as being this aggressive energy, or, you know, I have to be a bitch in order to be powerful, or I have to just stand up for myself. And really, in reality, a woman who is really powerful and standing in her power is someone who's actually soft and but can say no firmly. Right. Someone that helps, that can get over her own insecurities to help others, to come out of her shell, to be visible.
Exactly.
So I love the work that you're doing in the world. It's so awesome. So, you know, one of your breakthroughs was that you started booking clients within the very first month. So what were some of the things that you immediately, some of the fears during that first month that we started working together that you overcame to do that?
I think one of the biggest things was like being able to repackage what I do to fit my clients' needs, because that's what I started doing, was like kind of breaking down my signature system into smaller, like bite-sized chunks, so that people could just experience, like, if they wanted to do healing work, I would do like a 3-week, you know, course with them to focus on that. And then if they wanted to go deeper, we could go deeper. So it was really just like being able to expand my offerings is what really helped me in the beginning.
That's awesome. And, you know, you started your visibility challenge, the 30-day visibility challenge, like 2 months ago. I don't know, something like that. Time just goes by so fast. So, you know, tell us a little bit about some of the gremlins and dragons that you had to slay from getting visible, because you're actually freaking awesome. Like, I was looking through your channel the other day and I love the twerking video, I have to say. I'm like, I love her. And I know from, you know, being with coaching you and in the mastermind that you were struggling with some things, that you've totally like put yourself out there to face your fears. So what were some of the struggles that you were facing the most?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely when I started the visibility challenge, it was so scary to post on my personal Facebook page was like one of the biggest fears, just because, especially with my topic of like sex and relationships, it's scary to like put myself out there in front of like everyone I know talking about this. So I would literally have to like give myself a pep talk for like 30 minutes before I posted my first videos. But literally now I've been like doing it for over 30 days and I don't even think about it anymore. I just post them and I'm like having so much fun doing it. And I've been getting so many calls scheduled from it. So it's been really amazing. And I've been getting a good response, like from people that I didn't even expect. Like people are messaging me and being like, oh my God, like I'm just loving what you're sharing. Like, thank you so much for talking about this. So it's been inspiring.
That's really awesome. I mean, yeah, I've seen, I remember you making that particular comment, at one point you're like, oh my God, I find myself thinking about this for like 30 minutes and trying to give myself a pep talk and I don't know what, and I'm like, I was cracking up actually, because I mean, I remember when I got visible, I had to give myself a pep talk too. And then you just do it. And then, like I always say, your brain, you create all of these new patterns and habits and ways of thinking that once you start having some success, small success, and then built upon another success, then it just becomes like your new normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, really awesome. So, give us some advice, some tips for our relationship. Like what's your number one tip that you always tell people? To have a more connected, conscious relationship, because that's one thing that I love about what you do is that you're really about this, creating this conscious relationship. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I try to teach is speaking your truth and having like crystal clear communication so that you aren't just sweeping things under the rug. Like you're bringing up the things that are coming up for you, no matter how small they might seem. Because if you're not doing that, you're just going to end up stuffing them down, and that's when things start blowing up. And knowing yourself, knowing what you desire. So that's one of the biggest things I dive into with the archetypes is like really getting to know yourself and what type of things that you prefer, both inside the bedroom and outside the bedroom, so that you are able to communicate those things to your partner.
What's like one of the biggest things that women don't talk about with their partners? When you talk about like speaking your truth, right? Like what is one of those biggest truths that they don't?
It's kind of crazy because I think with women, one of the biggest things is that they don't know what they desire. One of the first things I have them do is like start a desire list of just like writing down, and it's like they can't even think of one thing to put down on the list when we start working together. And for some reason, I don't know why that is with women, but we're just not taught to think about our own desires. We're always people pleasing and doing things for everyone else. So I think that's honestly like the biggest first hurdle to get over is like figuring it out. What's your erotic blueprint archetype? What do you actually desire? Do you even know?
So true. I mean, one of my favorite archetypes is the oh gosh, I just lost the name of it, but the the one that is always in pleasure, or the hedonist.
Oh yes.
And one of the reasons that I never really looked into sacred sex and relationships like that in that way, but one of the things that I always taught, especially in one of my abundance courses, is that in order to attract abundance, you have to be connected with your pleasure. And if you're not connected with your pleasure, it's harder to attract abundance because you have to be a little selfish to know why you want it. Why, like it really, when you're connected to your pleasure and you can connect that to your why, and then you start building from there, I feel like things really fall into alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think of like the universe being, living through us, why else would it want to live through us unless it's for pleasure?
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite tools that I do is putting pleasure first, which is just like practices to help you drop into your pleasure. Like, what can you do in this moment right now that's going to make it more pleasurable? Is it taking a few deep breaths? Is it like relaxing in the sun, like whatever. It doesn't have to be sexual, but it's like, how can you bring more pleasure into each moment of your day?
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what's your advice for other relationship coaches out there that do something similar to you and really don't know how to get going?
Yeah. I mean, I think number one is like, I've been doing this for a while, and I think the biggest thing that was holding me back was being visible. And I understand that talking about sexuality can be really scary and people have a lot of judgments about it. But I think it's like, you got to get over that fear of being visible and just start putting it out there, because that's the only way that people are going to see you and know about what you offer. So
Totally. Well, congratulations and thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
And congratulations on quitting your job. You finally said, I'm done. So I am so very proud of you. I have loved working with you, all the time. You're just so everything. I have to say, one thing about you is that whatever advice I give you and next steps, you literally go out and implement it. Like, you don't think of it. It's like, it's amazing. And it's just, that's really what's needed in order to succeed. So, and I know you're going to do amazing. And I'm super excited for this new group program that you're launching.
Me too.
Ignite Your Feminine Fire and Magnetism.
Yes.
I want to ignite my feminine fire and magnetism.
I know, right? Yes.
Absolutely. All right, babe. Thanks so much for joining me. And you guys, thanks so much for joining us. I will be back next week with another gorgeous goddess telling you how to be powerful and how to do some really cool stuff, because I coach all kinds of really cool freaking women. I love you guys. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Peace out.